Why is everyone hating the day before? Today, we're going to be talking about why the hate and why I personally am having fun playing the game. Let's go ahead and dive in. And maybe you guys are on either side of the fence and you're trying to figure out, should I give this game the time of day? Today, we're going to break down the hate, we're going to break out the fun. So let's go ahead and dive in it. Let's get started with the first thing is, why is there so much hate for the game? Have you ever gone to a restaurant that you knew someone told you that the food wasn't good, and you go to the restaurant just because your friend or your family took to it, and when you get there, you try the food and you're like, this isn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, but still you don't give it the credit it deserves. This is basically what happened with the day before. Everybody was piling in on this game on how bad it was going to be, on how it wasn't going to be ready for release, on how it wasn't even going to release. It got so bad, guys, that the devs even had to come out and say, hey, guys, it's not a scam. This game is coming out. Just give it a chance. And everybody was on the fence waiting. And you know what everybody did? They went to Twitch, they went to YouTube stream, and started up and getting ready for when the game launched. The game launched, and one of the first things I said on my 10 things that the game needs to succeed video is, please do not make the servers be crappy. And what happened? The servers were crappy. I don't know how you as a development team, or how you as a person that makes video games, cannot see the number of people that are buying the game and not adjust the servers accordingly. They already knew they were going to have a ton of people playing the game. And when you have a bunch of streamers going in and playing the game and the servers fail and people see this on stream, you know what little Timmy does that bought the game? He automatically cancels the game, goes onto Steam, and gives it a bad review because his favorite streamer or any other person that he's watching stream is having technical issues logging into the game, and he has the issues as well. So what happens? Bad review. Number two, guys, is whenever you're developing a game, don't make promises that you theoretically can't keep, and don't give people hope on a certain game type and then deliver a different game type. What this means is, guys, this game was supposed to release 2 years ago. And the reason it got delayed is because the game was put in Unreal Engine 5. At least that's what the developer said. I played this game. I played other games that are on Unreal Engine 5. And to me personally, this game does not look like it's made on Unreal Engine 5. It looks like it's made on the old gen Unreal Engine. And you can literally tell it. If you ever played an Unreal Engine 5 game, the fidelity of the game, even though the graphics might be, even though like the character model might be looking crappy, just looks so much better. And this does not look like that. This theoretically looks like, I was playing like the Division, and the Division was made quite a while back. So that is one of the biggest issues. Another thing is, they said this is supposed to be an MMO zombie game. This is not an MMO zombie game. This is theoretically an extraction shooter. You basically go in there, you loot up, you extract, and you shoot. And that is basically what the game is, but they said that it was an MMO. Another thing that was made such a big promise of was big hordes of zombies rushing at you when you were playing. I played the game for I would say on stream for like about an hour and a half. I played it off stream, and to be honest, zombies are rarity. You theoretically bump into more players than you do zombies. And you cannot put up a trailer where you have hordes of zombies rushing at you and you only end up seeing one zombie in the whole entire play session. So that is a big problem. Now, putting aside the promises, let's talk about what I personally found that was really, I wouldn't say upsetting, but was kind of like a throw off of playing the game. And I'm saying the negative right now because I do want to talk a little bit about the positive things that I found in the game and why I actually had fun playing it. Okay. So one of the other things that I kind of felt that should have been been on point, at least 90% of this mechanic should have been done correctly. That is looting. When you make a game that is heavily defined on looting and finding objects in the environment, and you have to open up bags, open up drawers, open up saves, and all this stuff, this has got to be one of the most fluid things that you do in the game. Unfortunately, it's one of the most clunkiest things that you do in the game, because if you want to open something up, you actually have to stand on the side, you have to crouch, you have to jump, you have to move an angle, because it is so bad to get the prompt to open up the actual, thing that you're trying to open up. And when you make these type of games, this is one of the things that has to be on point because you have to worry about zombies, you have to worry about players, and you have to make this go fluid because if you don't make this go fluid, then you're spending more time looting than you are doing any sort of other engagements. Another thing that I felt like how do you make a zombie game and not allow us to melee? Like how do you do that? How do you not have a melee feature in the game? Another thing is when you're running around, how do you not allow us to jump and mantle on top of things, right? So, for example, let's say you're in a building and there's a little stairway going down, and you go down the little stairway, and you're like, well, instead of me going up the little stairway, I just want to jump on top of a, kind of mantle on top of the pavement and go on my merry way. You can't. You're kind of stuck there, and you either have to go around the whole entire building or you got to go around the whole entire object in order to be able to mantle or get on top of a certain area. And this is something that I feel like was really badly done. Now, apart from this, there are other things that I feel like the game could work on, but I feel like technically speaking, these are the ones that are going to be the deal breakers when you're playing the game. There are other things like, having more factions, making the actual missions be rewarding. Those are things that you could theoretically fix throughout the alpha stage of the game. But let's talk about the fun stuff, right? How am I having fun playing the game if I think the game is so bad? This game did one thing right that other games have not been able to do right. And Tarkov is a perfect example of this because Tarkov actually did this right. When there is a sense of loss and reward, that is when a game gets the loot and shooter strategy completely well done. And this is something that this game actually nailed. And that's why you've seen people like Dr. Disrespect actually find the game enjoyable. And you see other big streamers that find the game enjoyable. It's because of the simple fact that there is a risk involved when you go into the location where there is a fear factor of you losing a specific item. So let's say you have a backpack and that backpack gives you the ability to take a bunch of items out. You have a very good weapon. And if you die, you theoretically lose this. And I think a lot of games like DMZ being one of them that didn't have this factor mess up the formula of an extraction shooter. Luckily for this development team, they actually nailed this. There is a big fear factor when it comes to playing the game and losing the items that you have. Another thing that I personally felt that wasn't going to be good, and it actually turned out to be pretty good, is the gunplay. The gunplay mechanics actually felt pretty solid. The guns felt really good. It was something that I think they were going to do really bad in, but they did actually pretty good in. Like if you played the game, the overall shooting, the overall, reloading, the gun sounds and all that stuff are really well done in the game. Now, in retrospect, you guys heard me say a lot of negative things about the game, and you didn't hear me say a lot of really good positive things. The two positive things that I mentioned, which was the, fear factor and also the gun factor, I think for any other game, if they were to nail these two things right, would give the team or the development team or the game a really good beneficial setting point to make a really popular game. The problem they did with this particular game was charge $40 for people to try the game. I think if this game would have released like in a open beta or if it were released at free to play mode and people would have gone into the game, people would have complained. They would have said, I can't get into the server. They would have said this doesn't work, but people would still be playing it and not completely cancel it out. We're currently living right now in a place where cancel culture is like the main thing. And we saw this with Cyberpunk. Look how many people canceled Cyberpunk, and look how many people are even praising it now, even winning Game of the Year awards for a game that was supposed to be canceled a long time ago. I think this is where this game is sitting at right now. I personally felt like if this game would have been released as a free-to-play or a beta, I think we wouldn't be talking about the hate. We would be talking about things to make the game better. Now, overall, it just kind of boils down to you guys, man. You guys have to make the decision whether you want to play the game or not. But I do want to know, what side of the fence are you at? Are you guys in a completely side of the fence where you think like this game is trash? Let's hate it. Let's burn it. Let's take it to the barn and shoot it. Or are you guys like, well, let's give it a chance. Let's give the developers a couple of times for them to make the game better. Because when I was streaming this on the stream, a lot of you guys were asking me, Laser, what do you think about the game? Laser, do you think that if we give the developers a little bit more time, the game would be pretty solid? Me personally, I feel like this game has a really good foundation and a really good potential. Right now, there is a big hunger in the gaming community for a really good extraction shooter. Unfortunately, no one has been able to nail everything correctly. We have DMZ, which did a really good, phenomenal job when it came to gun shooting contracts, but a horrible job with the risk reward factor. And you saw what happened with that one. We have other extraction shooters that have come out that have done really bad as well. Can we please get one, just one, that nails almost everything right? If you guys want to know what the formula is to nail everything right, contact me and I'll tell you guys how to make your game successful. So let me know in the comment section down below. What do you think of the day before? Will you continue playing it? Are you playing it? And if you are playing it, hit that like button. I want to know how much you guys are enjoying our day before content. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.